Welcome, paranormal seekers, and let us go into the abyss. Join us to open your mind, both of your ears, and all three of your eyes, and discuss all things supernatural. We believe that we all learn from each other, and we all have a lot to learn. What will you learn today? Here are your hosts, Paranormal Investigator Sean Gilmore and Chaos Witch Zorina Crow.
Zorina Crow. No one's ever done a sound effect with my name,
Sean Gilmore.
Yeah, see, that doesn't sound good. That now I see why no one's ever done it before.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna do Gilmore and like, that whole rock like.
We will rock you.
Yeah, we will rock you.
Do you know the words to that song?
No. That's it. That's all I know. I know like a little bit of Bohemian Rhapsody and, and maybe some Def Leppard, but that's it for me.
That's cool.
Don't judge me, yo.
I mean, the fact that you know any Def Leppard is beyond me. I know Let's Get Rocked. And I know what they mean by "let's get rocked" because they're not talking about getting rocked.
But I do know me some Prince. I'm just saying.
Prince. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one time. No, I'm not going to go there. Prince. I love Prince. All right.
I do. Prince is my jam.
This one time, you ever hear the song "Pussy Control"?
Yes, I do know that song.
Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and motherfucking girls, this is your cat with no name speaking. I'm here to rock your world. Oh, I love that song. That's my freedom song. I was dating this girl, and it was just all bad. It was an all bad relationship. And when I finally broke up with her. I finally did what it took to break up with this person. And then my friends took me out to this club, and I got stupid drunk. And this song came on, and it was just like.
That was all she wrote.
Boom! It's just like a great moment. The people that were there with me were probably a little bit embarrassed, but it was okay. It's like a freedom moment, and I needed it, and it was just like great. And it was that song, and I don't know. So
Epic Gilmore. All right. Woo-hoo.
Sorry. So we started the show with a little bit of a fun story about me when I was in my young 20s and making a fool of myself. So, what better way to start a show about the paranormal with a great guest, I might add. Here, I don't have people are jumping in already. All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Sorry for the late start. We had some technical difficulties, but it's to be expected.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays, we try to put a lot of positive energy and a lot of things out there with our show, and there's a lot of negativity out there that tries to make it not happen. And
I know we got thwarted by the dark side, but we overruled and we won.
We did it. We overcame.
We got ahead.
We overcame, and so our guest is Teresa Sliwinski. She is a psychic medium, correct?
Yes.
And we are so thrilled to have you on. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, go ahead.
And she is a Crone witch. She is a paranormal investigator. She is a multitude of many things, and she is one of my nearest and dearest, amazing, most awesome people that brings the medicine to this world. So I'm just happy to share her with you guys.
Thank you ever so much, Serena. Thank you, Sean, for having me on board. I apologize. The technical difficulties are on my end here. I don't know what was going on, but that's all right. You can hear my voice. I guess that's what counts, right?
Right on. I just want a quick shout out to Justin and Jessica and everybody in our group, and Baba Jean. I wanted to say hi. I love you. So now we're going to go. Let's rock. Whoa! Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get this party started.
Let's get this party started. It's like Prince, 1999, Sean. Let's get it on.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Well, real quick before we get started, I do. Last week I kind of feel bad. We got so into the show that I didn't get to do this, so I'm sorry. I got to take a moment to do this, guys. We have a great sponsor, the Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. They need our support. All right, they need new windows. The house is always needing more work. It's an old home, and it's got a lot of land. And if there's any way anyone could help in these hard times, go to their Patreon page, and you can become a Patreon, and you get special gifts. You get special privileges for becoming a Patreon. So go check them out at www.patreon.com/Hinsdale House Museum, and go check them out. Also, if you ever have a chance to go investigate that place, it is an amazing place. I mean, the inside of the home's haunted. The property is haunted. It's an awesome place. So thank you to them for
this place, Sean.
It's in Hinsdale, New York, in northern New York, kind of south of Niagara Falls.
Oh, all right. That sounds interesting. Well, you never know. Maybe I'll show up there with a team.
Oh, and Justin Brown is on. I'm sorry, one more thing. Happy birthday, Justin. I hope you had a great day. Thank you for jumping on your big day.
Yeah, I have to tell Justin, happy birthday to you. Like Marilyn. That's about how you go and get. Sorry.
Look out.
You have a lovely voice, Serena.
No, that Serena cannot sing. That was just that was it.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God, Sean. I'm sure Justin really loved that Marilyn rendition for you. You know, I'm just saying.
Like that. That was special for Justin.
Yeah, it was. Very special sauce.
But we got Melvin on.
Woo, woo, Melvin.
We got Vicky Marsh on from the UK.
And I think we got some people coming in from Canada for
Joe Campbell.
Right on.
We've got Bea Andrade from YouTube. All right. We got more YouTubers coming on. We have Jean Jerome Baudry.
Right on. I love this. We got some
Jessica Bias. How's it going? Yeah. Donna Abbott. How's it going once again? Vicky, did I say hi to you already? Hi. We got Matthew Fall coming on.
Yes.
Oliver, our big boss man.
Woo, woo.
He's on. Eddie David. And
we got Josh. We got a lot of people on.
All sorts of people jumping on. Awesome, guys. Thank you for joining us.
My Canadian friends, for sure.
Yes. Go Canada.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Ask me any questions. Go right ahead.
Well, first, I when I was younger, I went on this camping excursion. It was about a 13-hour drive from where I live in Northeast Ohio. And it was on the Great Lakes in these islands. I think it was along Lake Superior. Is that kind of close to where you're at? Because that place was pure magic.
Yes, Lake Superior is one of the Great Lakes. I'm on Lake Huron, Georgian Bay area, and they're wonderful. Like, I mean, it's just beautiful in this part of the world. So go ahead, tell me what your experience was, because the lakes here are alive. They are totally alive. There's a lot of spirit around.
They really are. One day we were just trolling around on this boat, and honestly, we were looking for cliffs to jump off of, and we found this area where it was just like follow the stream. I don't know what made me pull off to the stream, but we followed it, and it was this area just totally covered in white marble, and it was like underwater, clear water. Underneath was white marble, gray and white marble, and there's an island all covered in gray and white marble. I had never ever seen anything like this. It was like if I had a picture of what Bear Heaven looked like, it would be that place.
So what is the name of that place? Is there?
I don't know. It was in some reservation area in Canada.
Really?
I don't know.
Not Manitoulin Island, is it? No.
I don't know. Honestly, I was like 19. It was a long time ago. I grabbed a chunk of this marble from the area, and because I was like, but I forgot it there. I was like,
maybe somebody can jump in from Canada and let us know.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic. I know that today was pretty amazing. I got to talk to Teresa, and there's a lot of activity on her land. I think it's just so beautiful that Canada has, just such a, open territory for just, nature and its spirit and energy just to thrive, and the Native American aspect that it brings, the energy is just completely brilliant. And, I know. Mm-hmm. And then I know you also do paranormal investigations and things like that. I definitely want to dive into where you've been, because like we hear a lot of stuff here in the US, and like I want to know some ghost Canada stuff. So
okay. All right. Well, let's start. Well, the first thing, when I had moved up here, all right, I decided I was going to go and check things out. So, and keep this in mind, it was February, so it was quite wintry here, and I decided I was going to take a drive. So I went into my town, drove down the main street, and ended up in another little town close by the name of Penetang. I drove down the main street, and all of a sudden I just got this amazing pull to just kind of stop. And I did, in the middle of the intersection, the main intersection there on Robert Street, and I just decided I was going to pull over, took my vehicle, pulled it over. I got out and I thought, okay, what is going on? There's a building, a blue building on one corner, and on the diagonally opposite corner looked like a restaurant and another building attached to it. I stood there and I thought, wow, what is that? So I got the sense, suddenly my clairvoyance started to kick in, and I started seeing something in the window of the tall blue building. And I looked at it and I kept thinking, why is there somebody standing there? And I looked a little bit closer and it kind of disappeared. And I thought, well, okay, what was that, a man or a woman? But when I turned to look at the opposite diagonal building, I got a very strong impression of a woman, and she was sort of standing there and fearful. And I saw her briefly, and then she sort of disappeared, and it was just more or less her standing there looking at me and then disappearing, and then seeing a man sort of step forward. And when I looked at him, his face sort of kind of took on this grumpled look on his face, and both of them just kind of disappeared. And I thought, okay, so what is the connection between these two buildings? And the more I looked between the two buildings, I definitely felt like that there was a sort of like a vortex pull between the two of them. And I thought, okay, so there's spirits here, and there's been deaths between these two buildings. Okay.
Wow.
So as I drove off, as I got to know people, because I was still relatively new in my town, as I got to know some people, they started to tell me a little bit of history between the two buildings, okay? And the blue building, apparently, it was, it's all boarded up and shut down, but it had once been, I believe, like a hotel, a rooming house, and there was a bar. And apparently there was a shooting that had taken place there. And I think it was an OPP officer that was shot. So it was like a provincial police officer. He was shot and murdered, and they took him, all right, and apparently, I don't know, nobody could find him, and the person who shot him ended up putting him in a freezer. And so his body stayed there for the longest time. I know, talk about gross. But eventually, you know, it did come out. He was found, and the person was arrested. Okay, so there's that spirit there, but there's also another spirit there. And I had the sense that there was a woman there. And I never did find out what the history was with regards to that woman there, but I definitely had a very strong feeling of a spirit standing at the window watching. But the building diagonally across, again, there was an older woman that had lived there, and she had passed away, and the person or the man that I had seen apparently was her husband, and he was very abusive to her. So I picked up that energy there, and I thought, wow. It was very, very strong. And the more I started to drive around, that was sort of like my first year, was just driving around and getting a sense of place of the land, of just getting acquainted with the little towns that are nearby. And there was a really strong sense of just land spirits, but also of all other spirits that walked around there. And when I kind of tuned in, it was very easy to tune in because, again, I'm now in the country. I'm not in the city any longer. And the more I was able to tune in, the more impressions I got from the place of the land, but also some of the some of the history, because some of the spirits started to come, started to sort of make themselves known to me. But again, it really comes down to being very quiet, taking that time to be very peaceful and tuning in. And I found that that's when I was able to connect with the spirits. As I was talking to you today, Zarina, with regards to the back of my home. Okay.
Yes.
My land itself, I have land spirits that live there. But when I found out that the furthest part of the town was where my property ended, and at that wooden fence, there was a pathway, and according to legend from the War of 1812, when the Iroquois Indians had come up from America to fight the British soldiers here and the Wendat people here, there was a massacre. So there's many deaths all around here. But they used this pathway because I tapped into it by letting my dogs out at night. When I went out there, I would stand there, and then I would sort of see something out of the corner of my eye, and I thought, okay, I sense the land spirits, I sense, the place. And when I would tap in and I'd look over, all of a sudden, one of the spirits stopped. It looked at me, and then briefly sort of faded back into the ground or back into the background and walked away. And I looked at my dog, okay, my dog looked at me, and of course, he was growling, okay? So I took that growling to be a confirmation, definitely, okay? So it's for me, it was just finding even the spirits on my land, okay? So finding that, and just, like I said, being able to see what else was around my property, okay, and tapping into, the elementals that are here. I have everything from, little fairies, as Zarina, you can definitely confirm that.
Yeah.
And I had this interesting little creature, a nana bush, which I had no idea what that was until I described that little being that I saw to an elder, a native elder here. And she was able to identify it immediately. Catherine Gorman Lovelady, who's an amazing woman. She also is a psychic and a medium. And where I was able to, take a refresher course as far as my psycho-spiritual abilities. Anyway, and she had identified this little being. And as soon as I found that out, I thought, oh, I know exactly what that is. So I found it was just amazing just to tap in locally here, okay? But again, I mean, I've also been invited to do paranormal investigations outside of where I live. There's a place that I had gone to in Coburg, and it was the Coburg jail. And that was very interesting. The first time I had gone there, the rescue mediums from the UK had come by, and they were doing a workshop and inviting people to come to do a paranormal investigation. Of course, I had just being able to come into contact with some of the spirits there. They were very, very strong. And this was the first time one of my close friends, we were both sitting there, and she immediately was visited by a spirit. And this spirit started to physically push her down onto the table. I kind of looked over at her, and I giggled, and I said, "Is that really happening to you?" And she's like looking at me. She's going, "Uh-huh." And then I started to feel it. Okay. So then here we are, the both of us being pushed down by a spirit. And I'm looking at her, and then I all of a sudden I realized the spirit was trying to take itself over, trying to take me over. Okay.
Ooh, that's not good.
No, it was not. It was not. But thankfully, I had an experienced medium who was able to come over and rescue me, so to speak. So, yeah, I've done some paranormal investigations. That was one of the places. The other place that I had visited was the Heritage Park. These are heritage homes that are placed just outside of Mississauga, and now I can't remember the name of the place. But anyway, that was an interesting place because every one of those buildings that were brought there, they're historical buildings, and so they're brought there to live out the rest of their days, basically, at this heritage park. And each of those buildings had a spirit, but the most predominant one was the one that was used actually for Anne of Green Gables television show up here in Canada. And the spirit that was associated with that, well, that was an experience in itself. We ended up, the team that I was working with at the time, okay, we decided that we were going to invite people to this event. So we created an event, and we had invited a few people and see what they were able to get, and people get a chance to sort of, experiment with their own abilities, their own intuitive abilities. And it ended up being very interesting, but it also ended up being very scary because one of our guests actually was taken over by a spirit. And so we had to step in and rescue this person. So I had to help this person sort of, come back to this here and now, right? And it was something that some people who have never experienced spirit before were very, I think they were surprised. A few of them really started to take it very seriously. And if you've never had that experience with spirit, I always tell people just take it seriously. Okay.
Can you elaborate on maybe some of that and how that actually transitioned and how that happened? Because I think for a lot of us, who are out there, and are, maybe they've never seen or had that happen, what actually happens in that process? And, I wanted to know if Sean had any questions regarding that, in any of the investigations that he's been on, that they've seen anything like that happened when he's been out there as well.
Okay, well, as far as the actual experience of the person, okay, from what I had seen, I arrived a little bit later, or the person was actually brought into the main building where we originally had set everything up. And according to what he had said, that one minute he was standing there and talking to his friends, and then the next minute he was down on the floor. It was like the spirit had just smacked him down. And then the other thing that he remembered was coming into the main building, and what I saw when he was being brought, he was literally being brought over the shoulders of his friends, okay? And he looked like he was actually drunk. If you didn't know anything about him, you would swear that he was drunk. He looked punch drunk, okay? His face, he sort of had this glazed look over his face, and he was obviously not here, like he was not there, right?
Do you think that's what they call spirit possession, like when like a disembodied spirit jumps into you, or what do you think of what that was?
I personally think that the spirit had smacked him down, and from what I found out later was that he was not taking it seriously, and almost like he was goading the spirit, so
and
to speak.
He got his ass spanked. He got taught a lesson, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But he had a residual effect of the spirit and what was happening, and the spirit was still attached to him, and he didn't know that. And even the people who were bringing him into the main building, they started to experience a dizziness and sort of a spacey feeling, and they looked it too. If you could see them, if you could look at them in their eyes, you realize they were not able to focus. So of course, the first thing you do, you have to ground them. And as I immediately told them, I said, just sit down, and I mean, I literally ground people. I tell them, take off your shoes, take off your socks, put your feet down, feel that cold, okay? And then, placing my hand on top of their head, I just talk to them, and I ask them to listen to my voice. Can they hear what I'm saying? And really, then I take out the other tools that I had around me. I had a stick of Palo Santos. I had somebody light it. I put that right underneath their nose, okay? And of course, I mean, if you're going to smell it, it's a lovely smell.
Yes.
But it really brought them right back, And they started to focus in, and it was like, are you here? You're there? Okay, great. And, here's a bottle of water, start drinking that water. But you could really see that spirit has that ability. And if somebody is not familiar with, how to deal with spirit, or not taking the spirit seriously, they'll find themselves in a predicament much like that.
Absolutely. Sean, have you ever seen or had anything that happened, like anything of all your experience that you've been out there?
Yeah, I've experienced a couple times where people have been kind of like jumped by spirit, or spirit deeply affected them. I don't want to go as far as to say possessed, because it was not something that it was something very quick usually, and we were able to take care of. As far as like there was one time where I was at the Monroe House, and a friend of mine was definitely being affected by spirit, and I went and I just shielded them myself. I went up to them and I shielded them, and almost instantly they snapped out of it. So usually, in my experiences, it's been something that's been that easy to take care of. My old colleague Amber Wellman, she would be able to. She'd get jumped by spirit and be affected. She's sensitive as well, and but she's very strong, and we were able to take care of that as well. So it was never anything too crazy, nothing like you would see on some of those TV shows, but it was definitely very something that deeply impacted all of us.
I know Sean has a lot going on in his backyard as well, Teresa. He's had a lot of experiences. I don't know, Sean, if you want to share some of that with Teresa and everybody, because it's been, I know you talked to me a little bit about it, and he has some elemental things going on, but If Sean, do you have anything you want to like share, particularly with your experiences of your backyard?
In my backyard, there's
yes.
I just don't. I haven't investigated to really find out what exactly it is.
Yeah.
I've only talked to a couple people like you and a couple other people and explained some of the experiences that we've had.
Yeah.
And some of the feelings. If you go out there and it's just like you, by yourself, you definitely know you're not alone. There's one time I went out with, again, Amber Wellman, and we both felt like we were being surrounded by a bunch of somebodies. There's been times when something would knock on our doors, and it'd be like our back door. And my house isn't very close to the road, and so for something to be knocking on, and I have a pretty big yard, and it does get dark, but I feel pretty confident that we would see someone running through our yard, and there wouldn't be anyone there. I've had my front door be thrown open, and you could go out there and you feel it. But what's funny is that there's this fenced-in area where my dogs go, and it feels like the same security almost as in my house, except they can see you and you can feel them watching you. It's like they're up against the fence and they're like watching. There's an old capped off well in my front yard. I think that there's something to do with that too. So I don't know. I haven't been able to find any like newspaper clippings. I know a little bit of the history of the property, but not anything like definitive that would explain any of this.
Sean, do you find your dogs can sense spirit? Because I mean, I know dogs and cats have that natural ability to do that. Have you ever looked at your dogs and see if they've responded in any way?
My one dog, Gramps, who is my newest dog to our family, he's definitely sensitive. I'm an empath myself, and there's been times when I've taken him on walks and I would feel the presence of somebody, and I would turn and look, and I'd look down at my dog, and there he is checking out the same thing I'm checking out. So, so yeah, he is. And I actually look forward to going out when it gets nice out. At night, we have a Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and what's nice about national parks is they don't close, and there's a lot of history and there's a lot of good haunted places throughout that park. I'm excited to take him back there and see and help, maybe even train him, so maybe I could take him to other locations and maybe he can help with investigations, because I do truly believe that he is very sensitive, and so yeah.
We could have like a whole new level of canine, like ghost canine. I'm just saying.
You just thought of the next TV show
on Into the Abyss right this minute. Ghost.
You just thought of the next paranormal TV show, Canine Paranormal.
Right here, baby. What? I'm telling you, I invented that.
We want some restitutions for that idea that came on our show.
Right here. Right here. Yeah, you can put that in my bank account. Let me put it I'm just saying. So I do want to go back to one of our comments, and I do believe this is one of your friends out there in Canada, and it's a Connie Kanya. I don't know if I pronounced it wrong, so please, I'm terrible at pronouncing names, but she said, do you remember what happened to Sue at the Coburg jail, Teresa? Do you remember that? So what happened at Coburg jail?
Oh, I wish I could find that comment so I could share it.
What happened to who? What was it? Who's the person's name, Sue?
It says it was a Connie, Cunha, Kanya. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. But she asked you what happened to Sue at the Coburg jail. Teresa, do you remember that?
Oh, I've been at the Coburg jail once, twice, maybe 3 times. I don't remember what happened to Sue.
Oh, here.
We had so many people there at the time because, like I said, we had the team that I used to investigate with. We had I believe we had an event there, and there were quite a few people. There were like 25 people there. I don't remember. I know that a lot of people that ended up at the event, a few of them ended up, I would say that they were not taken over by spirit, but again, affected by spirit. And sometimes the other thing too to remember is the spirit may be affecting you by, how could I put it? Let's say you're having a bad day, okay, and you come to a haunted place, you know, or you come, like, for example, to the event, and you're coming out of an argument with your significant other, okay, and you have some sort of issue on your mind, but you're deciding to kind of like, okay, let's just go with the day or whatever. That spirit, if that spirit has that negativity within it and has experienced something similar, it will, I would call it, latch onto you in that sense, okay? And suddenly that experience that you had earlier in the day, that emotion will suddenly surface, okay? And I think that's what I was seeing happening, okay? So what was happening in that person's life, okay, or some of the people that showed up, this would sort of come to the surface, and suddenly it was like, oh my God, there they are, and they would break down emotionally, and it was very hard to see. But again, it was bringing them back to the here and the now that was the very, very important. And this is what sort of prompted me to really think about putting together a mediumship course, okay, and trying to teach people and train people how to deal with spirits, okay. First of all, identifying their gifts that they have intuitively, knowing how to identify them, going further from that, and learning how to protect yourself spiritually, okay. And I found that was very important, especially when you're going to start bringing people into an investigation, okay? Because, I mean, I know I've experienced it with spirit, and I mean, I go in with protection, but the minute you let your guard down, or let's say you're not properly clearing yourself, okay, you're not grounding and clearing yourself before going to an event, an investigation, that will come up for you in that investigation, okay? So it's very important to ground and center, to protect yourself. And it was very evident by some of the people who had come there, whatever had happened earlier or whatever, that spirit was there, was able to connect, and boom, they were, you know, they were being overtaken and emotional about the whole situation.
Wow. I know that I like I said, I'm always have to be really prepared in any time or in a situation I go into, because I'm not going to go in there, you know, half-assed and not protected, and, you know, have to deal with something that, because you never know what's going to happen on an investigation, you know, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. You know, when you walk into a situation and you're poking at things that you don't, you know, or the other people around you are poking at things, you know, I definitely want to know. I'm coming out, and, you know, I'm not going to, you know, and not to have to call the hellhounds to come clear me away from something. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so
exactly.
Yeah.
No, you really do. You have to know what you're doing, you know, and I think that's what really sort of hit home for me after that, you know. But, you know, I mean, there was that example, Coburg Jail. There was the Heritage Center. I've also done personal homes as well. So I've gone in where, you know, there have been spirits in person's home, having to, first of all, investigate, okay? And what I do before I even go to the actual investigation, it's what I call tapping in. And I do a premonition beforehand. And I don't want anyone to tell me any details other than, you know, Teresa, I'm having a problem. There's a spirit in my house. And I'm okay, great, thank you. Just, give me bare minimum. Tell me the bare minimum facts that you can. Let me tell you what I sense. So I take time. I take a few days, whether it's a week or whatever, until I exhaust that premonition, okay, and tapping in. And when I tap in, I mean, I'm using also my own guides, my own angels, all right? Because let's face it, if we're in this work, we have to learn how to protect ourselves, right?
That's right.
So spiritually protecting ourselves. And once I tapped into what was going on there, all right, I'm able to get impressions, through my clairvoyance, if there's any auditory, through my clairaudience, any physical, my clairsentience. I'm using all of my intuitive gifts to get as much information as I possibly can when I go and finally come into contact with the person one-on-one, face-to-face, and then I tell them this is what I'm getting. And then they can tell me yes, no, or whatever, and then they fill me in with further details. At which point I decide, am I going to do a cleansing? Am I going to do a clearing? Do I have to bring in a team? And I've done that in the past. I've done different house cleansings, okay, in different modalities as well, given, my different spiritual paths that I have walked on in my life,
You and I both, we're kind of like, we tap into a little bit of everything. We're kind of like pirates. We take a little bit here, a little bit there, and we make it work. But I wanted to say real quick, hi Danny, my other psychic buddy. He's joined us in the chat. But also there's a question from Fred Ashman. Sean, I can go ahead and read that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. It says, Teresa, is there anything that you can do remotely to send the White House to cleanse out that evil that resides there now? Father Fred asked. Sean, I know you want to chip in on that one because I know I love you, bro.
Oh, Father Fred. He's a sweet man. He really is. Can I do anything remotely? Okay. Well, let's see. How bad is it?
Sean, how bad is it? Weren't we having this discussion at like 3 a.m. one night? I'm just saying.
So
I don't want to get it into my politic opinions right now. We want to keep politics out of the show. I could definitely appreciate what he is asking for, though. I will say that.
Yes. So, but what were you saying, Miss Teresa?
As far as remotely clearing or cleansing or anything, I am more of a person on a one-to-one. I have to be there live and experience that. I can.
You don't want to.
Into what's going on. What's that?
He said you don't want to tap into the White House and try to clear that.
No, you said you want to be there personally and experience it. You don't
personally experience.
You don't want to. You don't want to do that.
You don't want to be there personally, Teresa.
If you can do it remotely, like that's the closest you want to get to.
We want to save you in Canada. I'm just telling you.
Like watch from the border. Yeah. Go to the top of the needle of that needle that's in Niagara Falls and look down from there. You're good.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I will tell you, it is a difference, and because her and I do a lot of certain things pretty similar, and it is the personal experiences when you're cleansing or doing something or tapping in when you're on investigation versus doing something remotely. I mean, sometimes I've been able to freak people really out. Like I'll walk through their house, never been there, they're across the country, and I'm telling them exactly how their house is laid out, blah blah blah, and they're like, how you could do that. and it is what it is, you know what I mean? And it's scary because, like, you know, it's just like, I remember one time I was walking through and we're doing a remote thing and looking for something that my buddy was not, he's like, there's something in my house, you know, and like, he was like, and then I took him, and like, you know, you get these visual things that are very keen, like he had like these blaze orange tennis shoes by the front door, and like, I would not know that, you know, and I said, you know, give him that specific clue, and he's like, dude, you are so freaking me out, man. I'm just freaking me out. And it's just like and so it's just like, you know, it's just pretty interesting because, or I've had people call me panicked that, you know, they're out working and they're doing something and that, you know, there's a ghost, and they're like, you know, calling me, and they're like, you know, I'm, you know, invoking St. Michael to kind of help clear and, you know, help them to kind of like not have a heart attack, you know. And it's just like, it's pretty funny, some of the diversity and the calls that you do get, or people ask you what I wanted to ask you, what is one of the most scary experiences that you had, Teresa, and one of the most absolute funniest experiences that you had?
Oh, funniest. Well, actually, every investigation I go to, I mean, that's just part of my personality. I look for the funny, right? So, you know, and I get the funny sometimes, right? I think the scariest was the one I pretty well had described with that event that happened at it was the Milton Heritage Park. That's where it was, in Milton, just outside of Hamilton and Toronto. Anyway, and it was seeing this person who, like I said, I mean, he had no experience being in a haunted location before. And quite frankly, as he had told me, he said, seriously, he thought, oh, this is great. I'm there with a couple of my friends, you know. Ooh, we're going to a haunted house, you know. And he said, I didn't take it seriously because he said, I've never quite experienced what I did. And then having seen him, taken over, and to me, that was pretty scary. Like, I was scared for him. Because I realized he had no idea what was happening to him at all. And that I found scary. I really did. The funniest things, well, I mean, it depends on what you call funny. I mean, I've had my hair pulled, you know. I've had a spirit basically, you know, again, when you're, depending on your mood, when you're going into a paranormal investigation, it may be heightened because that spirit makes that connection with you. I have gone somewhere where I ended up at someone's house, and their house was haunted. And as I'm sitting there with a couple of my friends, we started to get the giggles. Well, oh my God, we couldn't stop. I mean, seriously, we were crying. And the three of us, I remember just looking at each other, and I remember my girlfriend looking at me. She goes, I can't stop. And I go, either can I. And I go, oh my God, we got to leave. Like, we had to leave the house. We went for a walk. We came back and we're like, okay, are we all right? Yeah, we're fine. We got in there. We still had the leftover giggles, but it wasn't as bad. Like, seriously, it was to the point where our stomachs were hurting. We were laughing that hard, and we couldn't stop, you know. But that was the spirit that was there, So that was, you know, I would say that was the funniest, you know. And the scariest was, of course, like I said, watching somebody, you know, to me. I'm not really... I don't get frightened by spirit in that sense, I understand where they come from. And again, when we're talking spirit, I mean, they can be human spirit, but I've also gone to places where I've cleansed with a team, where the spirit is an entity. And these are, you know, yes, quote unquote, demonic entities, all right. And again, when we say the word demonic, you know, we're thinking hellish or whatever. Sometimes it's just an entity that is an elemental, and it's run amok. Okay.
It is.
And basically you have to try to communicate with it
Mm-hmm.
and try to placate it if you can, or negotiate, right?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And I have been in a situation with a team, okay, and we basically had to talk to that spirit and come up with, okay, well, if we do this for you, if we give you this, will you go along your merry way, right?
Right.
And it was basically, you had to do that negotiation, So, spirit isn't always, spirit, human form.
I think I just thought of a new name. I don't know. I'm coming up with all these ideas. Spirit negotiator. I'm just like, I'm like winner chicken dinner today. Even though Joe Campbell did not like my dog idea, he's already canceled my show. So I still love you, Joe, even though you already canceled my show, my dog idea. Golly. I know. I'm just like, Jesus. I didn't even get a pilot episode yet, Joe. For real.
I just want to point out that you just said winner chicken dinner on my show. So there's that.
Well, Sean likes to get his butt touched by ghosts, so that's.
Wait a minute. You like to bring this up on every show. I feel like. All right. Anyways,
look. At least you're not asleep on this show. I'm just saying that.
Whoa.
Because I love you, Sean.
Whoa. That was not my fault.
I love you long time, Sean.
Wow. Wow. So, okay, now that she brought that up, and someone did bring this up in the chat too. They're like, oh, he's awake. Well, over the weekend, I went and I was going to make a post. And, well, I in the middle of making this post, it's like one of those like senior pictures, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think anyone has a senior picture of me. And I thought I posted it, and I dropped my phone, and it went under my bed, and I was like, yeah, screw it, I'm just gonna roll over and go to sleep. So I rolled over and I forced myself to sleep. Actually, I didn't really force myself, guys. I do take a supplement that helps me sleep. And so I was knocked out, and apparently somehow
we blew your
this created a Facebook Live video. I have no clue how, but somehow me dropping my phone when making a regular post, not even a picture, was attached to the stupid post. Somehow this went Facebook Live, and people were having fun at my expense for over an hour because I was sitting there snoring. Now, my sister, the first thing because she was on there, the first thing I messaged her, I was like, was I talking in my sleep? That's the first thing. I didn't think it's snoring. I don't care. It's like normal. And so I asked if I was talking. Like, what did I say? I'm thinking maybe I said something like in my sleep, because I say some pretty weird stuff in my sleep sometimes. But what woke me up actually was somebody calling my wife's phone, and her phone was ringing because my ringer was off.
Yeah,
it was vibrating
47 times.
I think it was more than that, but yeah, it was a lot. But it was just on vibrator, and so and the anyways, I asked my wife, "Who's calling you?" I'm like, "Who the heck is calling you right now?" And she's like, I don't know. And nobody heard me say that. And I deleted the thing. So you guys could have missed like some really interesting stuff that I could have been saying in my sleep, because I have really weird dreams and I could say some really, really weird stuff. So maybe I should be glad of that. And maybe I shouldn't be talking about it and throwing myself under the bus.
It could be a regular thing with you, because let me tell you, we had popcorn. We had a great time. It was wonderful. It was like sleeping with Sean in Ohio. It's just like a whole movie montage. We could have played some music in the background for you. I'm just saying, I just visualized the whole thing. And Linda's on. I want to say a shout out to Linda. She's my amazing sister psychic as well. I just saw her show up in the chat. So we got.
I know, Linda. I saw you were feeling well. Feel better.
I know. We love you. A long time. So
So yeah, Donna, you know what? Donna says she missed it. You know what? So did I. So and like I deleted the post. Like I didn't even think anything of it. Honestly, if I was of sound mind, I would have been like, oh well, I'm gonna keep it. I bet there's some funny stuff in there.
mm-hmm.
My first thought when I saw it, I was like, what the hell's going on with my phone? Was there's a live feed? Oh, what the fuck? No, delete. And so, and then I look at my messages. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And so I then realized that I probably missed some really good conversation in there.
I wish we could have been more interactive with you. It would have been fun, you know. I'm just
well,
saying.
they said that each time like the phone rang or buzzed, I would snore louder. But I think that was just like the phone like the phone's microphone like compensating. My phone, like I had this like fancy smartphone, like it's supposed to be fancy schmancy. I'll tell you what, I hate it. I'm getting a new phone. I don't like it. I'm trading
What
it in.
is it?
It's a OnePlus 7 Pro. So it's one of those it's got one of those fancy processors. And,
okay, well, if you decide to sell it, hit me up and let me give me a Serena special.
I have this like leasing thing with T-Mobile, so I just traded it.
Then darn it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I still love you.
Joe Campbell. The more they called you, the snoring got more intense. Well, here's the thing, too. My wife was in there. That could have been 221 comments. My wife could have been snoring, too. Not to throw her under the bus. You know,
but yeah, Teresa, he had 221 comments.
And my daughter was in there. My dog could have been snoring. How do you know it was me snoring? It could have been my dog. It could have been my daughter, because I think she was in my bed, because she sneaks into our bed, and my wife sleeps in there. We have 2 dogs that sleep in there, so I mean, and they all snore.
I have a dog and cat that sleep with me.
Yeah, see.
Miss Teresa had a question, Sean, for you.
Question.
How are you seeing all these so quickly?
You used any equipment, you know, like you see these on these shows, the ghost busting shows and stuff like that. Have you used any equipment yourselves? This is both for you, Zarina, and also for Sean.
I've used a lot of equipment. Almost pretty much name it. I've probably at least attempted to use it. I've used thermal cameras. I've used digital recorders. I've used spirit boxes. I've used Mel meters, K2 meters.
What's your favorite, Sean?
Periscope.
Tools that you've used for that. What is your favorites?
My favorite is my real-time digital recorder.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So it's my digital recorder. I hear it real time, and it's magnifying, so it's I hear more of what's around me. The only thing that I don't like about it is I can't tell what direction a sound is coming from. So it just sounds like everything's just like right there on top of me. But I feel like having that, it helps me open up more spiritually. So helps me tap in.
Okay.
What's the clearest?
What about you, Zarina? Do you use any equipment yourself? Do you find it helps your intuitive gifts, or do you just rely on your intuitive gifts?
Well, I honestly have been with teams that used certain types of equipment. I've not been one for that techie. I've did some EVP work, you know, some in my past, but I mainly rely on my spirit. I know that I want to try, you know, the copper dowsing rods. You know, Sean introduced that aspect of using that a few weeks back. So I am looking at purchasing and getting those because I want to try to integrate that in, because that makes more of a natural sense to me being, you know, a witch and a medium and everything, to kind of work with that. Since I'm not really a techie person, I kind of stick with what I feel is elemental for me, in order to, you know, have a higher, you know, tapping into what's going on in the surrounding type of a situation with, spirits or whatnot. Sean, what is the most clearest EVP that you got on your digital recorder?
Yeah, that would be interesting. What did you pick up?
I've gotten a lot of good EVPs. I don't know which one I would say is my clearest. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
A lot of great EVPs were captured when I was on Ectovision Paranormal. And there's a lot of great videos and a lot of great short videos and documentaries. If you go to Ectovision Paranormal on YouTube, there's some great documentaries that Eric McGill created for us and edited for us. And so I was blessed to be a part of that.
Yeah.
So that's really a good way. I don't know what my clearest. It's just so hard to like pick out the best EVP that I've captured. So
if you would maybe later post that link for us to see, because I don't think I've got to see any of those either.
You're my co-host? And oh my goodness. Let me ask you this. Did you see when I was on Paranormal Survivor at least?
No.
Oh my God, you're fired.
I am, because you know what? I've got 20,000 projects going on. Let me tell you what.
Fired. Gotta be like Trump, you're fired.
Let me tell you, just give me that stimulus check, baby. That's all I'm talking about.
I'm joking. I don't really care. But it's just really cool stories. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. It is. Here, I'll put it in the chat right now. So I have a question. On a lot of the shows, and this could be for either one of you or both of you, on a lot of the shows, they would talk about the devil's hour, 3 a.m., right? So me as an investigator, I personally never believed in it. I thought it was a bunch of bull. Okay. I would go on investigations, and honestly, most of the evidence that I captured was well before 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Actually, it's within the first couple of hours of the investigation. So my theory was, you know what? This is a bunch of hogwash. I don't believe it. But now, as I'm more intuitive and I'm more connected, I find myself having some really weird experiences at 3 a.m., especially like nowadays. I'm awake every morning, 3 a.m. We were talking about how I was snoring on a live feed. On the live feed, I was woken up before 3:30 in the morning. So it's no matter what, it's around 3 a.m. I'm always awake. And if there was one morning, remember I told you, Serena, I slept through it and I woke up and it felt off. The energy in my house was weird. And so I asked, is there something to this 3 a.m. more than what I thought of when I first started investigating?
I'll let Teresa answer that first, and then I'll piggyback her answer.
Okay. All right. As far as the 3 a.m. thing, that's the time I get up and go to the bathroom.
I was going to say it's the last.
Has any effect on that? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. Personally, myself, as far as any investigations go, I'm well at the place where I'm investigating before midnight or any of that kind of stuff. But as far as the my personal 3 a.m. experiences. Yes, strangely enough, even though I've laughed about it, I do get up shortly before 3 a.m. after 3:30 a.m. Okay, and it's kind of roughly around that time. So I actually try to stay up on the weekends, especially. Well, now it seems like there's been 3 weeks worth of weekends, right? I'm up till 3 a.m. anyway, right? I find for myself, if I am having a dream, and I'm very much in tune with my dreams, this is where I get a lot of my intuitive gifts coming through, whether they're premonitions or whether they're after the fact confirmations of things. I find when I when I do get up after having a dream at around that time, I try to remember it. Good luck in trying to writing it down, okay? But I do find that there is something to do with that time period, okay, between I would say even 2 till 4 a.m. because I mean I've gotten up earlier than the 3 a.m. or the 3:30 or something, and again it something wakes me up, and you know, whether it, again, I believe in my own spirits being around me, my own dream spirits facilitating my dreams, or something around that'll wake me. But if it's something that's around me, I rely on my animals, okay? Because I do sleep with a cat and a dog, and if there is something, they will either growl, or there's some sort of action on their part that will waken me. But I find with myself internally dreaming, I will wake up at a specific time. Like I said, anywhere from between 2 till 4 p.m. or sorry, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. And I get my dreams that way. But then again, I mean, I've gotten up early and I've gone back to bed, and I will have my morning dreams. Okay. So for me, it's more to do with the dreams that are coming through for me, okay, in the form of my intuitive gifts or that type of thing. But yeah, I don't know. What about you, Serena?
And I'm in agreement. I want to say thank you, RU Network, for you know, posting those links in there. I don't know if that's you or Sean or whoever.
That's me.
Yeah. So
you're welcome.
Yes, you're so loved. But for me, I find
I feel like there's a little bit of sarcasm in there.
No, you know I love you. For real, bro. So anyway, that's the same for me. I have found, especially since the pink supermoon last week and we had that portal open, it's like I am literally jacked up on Mountain Dew. It's just like I could be tired, you know, I could be, you know, doing things, and you know, I'm nocturnal in itself anyways, and it's just like, but it's just like boom, and it's just like I get that, you know, that time period when I'm open and it's clear, and it's just like this literal like feeling like this, my fingers just go out like that, and it's just like you're just hearing that hum, and it's just like you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then you can hear the spirits just so clear and so active. And then, you know, that's the time, like I have my little sketch journal, and I'll do like, you know, the visions as far as what they show me. And I literally cannot stop drawing until I get that vision completed for whomever that is for, which I typically don't know who those images are for. Or I know, and they're having me work on my tarot cards as well, because one of the goals at the end of the year, I want to publish my own set of tarot cards. So they're giving me those visions for each one of those 58 cards. So it's just like, you know, those are progressive moments where that you know that the spirits and the mothers are very active. You know, with us, Sean, we come from a diaspora called, you know, the Ifa and the Rishas and whatnot. So it's just like, for me, I worked with the mother Ajay. And so though my Ina is one of the mothers that comes to me, and she's just like, she's very, matter of fact,
I totally understand what you're talking about, Serena.
And she's very spot on. She's very direct. She doesn't like, you know, no wishy-washiness. And it's just like when you're getting tapped into those spirits, it's just like, you know, there is no option. You're getting your butt the frick up and doing what you got to be doing. There ain't no, it's like roll calling boot camp. You know, when you got a spirit, you know, pulling on your ear, or like, look, we got stuff to do. It's time to get up and do what you got to do. So that's how I gotta say that.
Yeah, Serena, can you? I'm sorry. Can you? I just want, because I don't think a lot of people will understand the names that you just listed and where they come from.
Okay, I will say, for me, like, I come from practicing a religion called Ifa, which is Yoruba, out of Nigeria and Africa. And Teresa, that's how her and I first met. And so it's working with the Rishas and the mother Ajay, which are like what they call the mother witches. And so it's just like when we're connected to that ancestral background, you know, they speak to us on a whole other level. And I'll let Teresa take it from there, because she is you know, just as experienced in that background, to explain her side and viewpoint of that as well.
Okay, thank you, Zarina. Yes, having like I said, having these spiritual paths that I believe have brought me all in a full circle to experience each of them. Okay, everything from, you know, walking the path of shamanism. I'm not a shaman, okay, not by any stretch of the means, but taking drum workshops and experiencing shamanism through practicing with other people, with native elders, to, you know, walking the path of the craft, okay, traditional witchcraft, traditional Wicca, and then, you know, experiencing everything that I did from that, taking from that, bringing it back again to my own spiritual path that I was born into, you know, Catholicism, and then finding that there's this whole world opened up to me, you know, as far as, you know, Catholic conjure was concerned, you know, through people that have a big influence on me, Denise Alvarado, and again, from my traditional witchcraft, you know, from my ancestral lineage that way, from the Ray Bone line, Gerald Gardner, Doreen Valiente, etc., and then bringing it, you know, again, moving forward. I'm always moving forward with my spiritual path, and you know, getting these modalities, the practices, and bringing myself to the path of Ifa, okay, the traditional African traditional religious groups. So with Ifa, I came to that because that's what I do believe, that through my entire spiritual path, I've walked with my own group of guides and spirits. We all do. It's just a matter of tapping into that, okay, and understanding about that. And then having them come full circle and really, you know, sort of dragging me to this point, going, you really got to listen here, girl, okay? Because, you know, coming on to the path of Ifa, I reluctantly came on board. It was almost like I wasn't given a choice at that point, okay, because the spirits definitely were calling me, okay, and they were confirmed. And my, you know, my Babalao, my Padrino, Jean Jerome, and, you know, coming forward with that, I found it completed me. It really explained everything that I have so far walked on this path, you know, my spiritual path in my life experiences sort of accumulated to all of that, okay. And I met some amazing people, you know, along the way of my spiritual path. I mean, I'm now working with Father Fred Ashmead, okay. He's an amazing gentleman, okay, from the Magdalena Church, okay, Mary Magdalene Church. And he's a Catholic priest, but an alternative Catholic priest, as I think he probably kill me for saying that. But anyway, it's really coming into contact with people, all right, that influence you. And again, with regards to Ifa and how I deal with the spirits, okay, because it's the way the spirits speak to me and the way they communicate with me, all right? So I needed that framework that was, you know, not dogmatic, okay? It was very much a dialogue with the spirit world, okay, with the spiritual world. It's a way of life also. It taps into that whole metaphysical side, to the, you know, the spiritual side, okay? And it's my spiritual belief system, and it speaks to me, and it answers that part of me that, you know, being being the witch that I was born to be, okay, it works that way through me, and I'm able to communicate that. All right. So, yeah, that's kind of like me in a nutshell.
And it's the same way with me. There was just certain aspects and certain experiences that I had that was very, very concrete and real for me that you could not explain away how certain experiences happened, that these are very real, present, spiritual deities and guides that are in your life that show you life lessons to understand how to enrich and trust the power of what you're tapping into. And it has allowed me to shift and change and be a better person, a kinder person, a more humble person, and removes the ego. Because let me tell you, you can't have ego when you're fat. You can have confidence. You can have confidence, but you can't have ego, because it has no place in this world. It's not about titles. It's not about this or that. We are literally being the medicine to the community that we serve and the people that we help, and that's the objective. Yeah, and that's what it's about.
That's exactly the way it is. It's really working on yourself, okay? And that's the beauty of the this spiritual belief system, is that you're able to work with yourself, okay, your connection to the higher divine, force, okay, the one true source, Old Mare, God, Creator, whatever you want to call it, and it manifesting, okay, in the shape or form of the Orishas. You want to call them the gods and goddesses, working with the saints. It's manifestation of that Ashe. Okay, in all those aspects, all right, and embracing that and understanding that, and yes, like you said, Zarina, it removes the ego when you work with the divine spirit and working with the divine energies, okay, so that you can better your community, because that's really what it's about, right?
Yeah,
we have to be that medicine, and thank you, Zarina, for earlier this afternoon for having that connection with me and bringing forth those messages. They were so strong and so profound. I thank you.
I'm honored to do it, and it was just I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to share with you, and definitely bring you forth that message. And I think a lot of the times we go through things and we don't realize when we.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
No. What is it?
I heard a woman's voice go, mm-hmm.
Okay, it wasn't me.
That's my ancestral witch. That's Abigail. She's with me.
Is that crazy that I heard it?
Yeah, she carries with me. She's actually she was from the Salem witch trials.
Oh wow.
So she's my connection, and she's very, very, very strong. And so you heard if you heard her, that's pretty freaking awesome. Yeah, because she's a badass witch.
It's like attitude, like
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Woo! I just got chills. It's amazing for me because I came from a traditional witchcraft background. I started Strega, and also with a Strega.
Yep.
I moved into when the first time I ever saw.
Oh, here you go.
Yes.
No, there's a good comment here with information.
Yes. That is actually Teresa's Baba, and Alafia. that's Baba Jean. That's explain about Baba Jean, Teresa.
You mean Jean Jerome?
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry. My brain is just like, sorry. I'm terrible with pronunciations. I'm so sorry about that. Yes.
He is he's the person that I go to, for my readings and to help me on my path.
Yeah. And Teresa just introduced me to him, and it's just an amazing connection, and I'm so pleased and so blessed and honored to have. I'm sorry, I messed up your name. I'm so sorry, Baba. So please forgive me. But it's but it's just like even today, Teresa, how I always talk about my heritage, Sean, and today she actually, how I talk about my sensitive kind of thing. She had that same thing, and how I have my gypsy side or whatnot, and she's like, I smell you. Do you have Slavic in you? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, so what kind of gypsy was I, Teresa? I'm just like, let me know, what was it?
I don't know. I've forgotten, but I know I could feel, your connection. You're definitely Slavic.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, I feel that, it's that tribal sense. Like you and I were talking about, we can smell it.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty, it's like pretty hilarious because, we do smell scent signatures, and it's just like, everything from fate or whatever. And I don't know, John, Sean, have I ever smelled you before? I'm not sure.
Have you ever done what?
Have I ever smelled your scent signature before?
You've never told me you have.
Sean's thinking, what smell?
so John Jerome, he says, no worries. It's a pleasure to have met you, and you are family now. Now that she is family, is she in the circle of trust?
I just like, yes.
I just wanted to say,
Same here. I look forward to meeting you too. Sorry, go on.
We have family. We have elders in Africa as well, and I just wanted to, just in case, Prince Bamadeli is listening. He is also one of our elders and one of our family in our spiritual path. So just a shout out there.
And I just
Melvin.
Teresa, you're gonna love this. Melvin's comment. Hold on, I'll be quiet. So go ahead, Sean.
All right. Melvin said, had a dumb power outage and missed a chunk of the show. And now I pop in to people smelling folks. Must have been a heck of a show. Now, what's really funny about that, when he came onto the show, let's go ahead and scroll on up to here, where he said that he came on at the wrong time because I was singing.
You what?
Because I was singing. Was by Prince? Like that was like the Prince like rap thing, like that. I trust me, you don't want to hear me.
You're Prince karaoke there, Sean.
Yes, no, definitely. So now, is there anything that you wanted to share, Zarina or Sean, about any of your experiences or your spiritual paths? Anything else?
Well,
go ahead, Sean.
I don't know. It's my spiritual path has definitely been an interesting one, and it's still ongoing, and I'm not really quite sure how much that's just like something I just kind of like share as experiences kind of like come. So I don't ever know really what to share really.
Yeah.
What I'm really curious to know, because it's starting to get late, and I kind of want to get in, start kind of heading the show towards doing our little healing prayer.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
But first, I kind of want to discuss this a little bit, and because I know what I feel and what I kind of think is going on and what I fear might be happening. Teresa, with everything that's going on right now, what are kind of like your feelings and your intuitions on everything? I mean, with tapping into the not just spirit, but to the planet and everything.
Okay, well, it's funny because I've had these discussions with a few friends, and the thing that I really truly do believe is that this is a time to sort of sit back, all of us, and reflect each and individually what what have we contributed to the situation here? Okay, and I'm not talking about just, you know, this whole virus thing. I'm talking about what it's done to our planet. Okay, what have we done to the planet? Okay,
personal responsibility. Yes,
I really look at this as the Earth really giving itself a shake. Okay, and we are. And I'm going to use the analogy of a dog and a flea, okay, because that's how I look at it. If the Earth were a dog and we are its fleas, it's giving it a shake because you know what? It's feeling uncomfortable. We have done so much damage to this Earth, okay, in the name of our greed. In the name of the that greed manifesting in pollution, you know, the air quality, et cetera, and what are we going to do about it? Well, now we're forced to kind of sit back and go, wow, you know, collectively as humans, not just individually, what are we going to ask our governments to do? You know, because we have to, you know, we elect these officials. They have to work for us, okay, not the other way around, because obviously something has gone awry here. We're going to have to find a way to communicate with other countries, and we're going to have to be on the same playing field. And what I mean about that is, if we're going to, let's say, embark on a trading exchange with another country, it's not good enough to turn around and turn a blind eye to the fact that they have no standards, okay, whether they're standards, quality standards to moral issues, okay, standards of how they treat their own people, okay, in their own countries. We can't afford to pretend, you know, we're going to shake North Korea's hand and do trade with them, you know, like seriously. We really need to all sit back and look at this, okay, and what are we going to do? What are those changes? I think human beings are going to have to make some changes. We have to. We're not given a choice any longer.
Yeah.
Patrick Westlick says the problem is politicians think that they don't answer to the people. I think first I want to touch on how you use the analogy of people being like fleas. I've always used the analogy of people being more like cockroaches, just because we are very resilient, and we spread and we take over. And I feel like we've been like cockroaches to this planet, and we've been destroying it. Or if not even cockroaches, maybe why can't I think? Are you serious right now? See, I've been off kilter. Like,
you got part-timers, Sean. That's okay.
I got what?
Part-timers, not full all-timers, just part-timers. It's okay.
Whoa. That hurts.
Stop it.
So anyways, we'll stick with the cockroaches though. So anyways, I've always kind of done that. And it's for the same type of analogies because all the damage that we do. But I agree. We need to figure out, like, this is a time, this should be eye-opening time. Like, where, okay, this is, we definitely, something needs to change. And I think that a lot of things will change. I think that, but I have other concerns of what, how people who aren't going to like the changes. I'm worried that, that it's going to make people agitated, and our last guest, Linda Dix, used the term civil unrest. And that's the type of stuff that I'm worried about. So I don't know. I feel like, but this is a time for healing, and hopefully people take that. I mean, if people are sick, and it's more than just them. It's everybody. It's the planet. It's the energy. It's time for healing.
Yeah. We have to tap into that healing energy. You know, we have to sit back and really reflect, you know, before we move forward. You know, we have to heal, you know, and that involves the healing of the planet. That involves understanding the sentient of other beings that we share this planet with, not exploiting them, okay, for our own uses, okay? I think that's really important. I do.
I do. And I really feel like I've liked, I discussed with Sean that, we used to not do the prayer thing and the healing. And now that we're doing it, I feel like it is starting to shape and change the direction of the show and into something so much more amazing. And, I've watched, Sean grow in his gift. And it just like, it's very powerful to me what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because it's just like the show is into the abyss, but it's just like when people are here and we're in that community and we're into this abyss, it's just like we're at this end of the show, we're this light, we're this powerful force, we're this powerhouse that shakes the darkness and breaks it. And I love that Sean has brought that into the show. So I just want to say thank you. As much as I harass you, just say
yes. Thank you very much, Sean and Serena, for allowing me to come on here. And
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Now here, Jean Jerome, he wrote a book here. Serena, can you read that?
Absolutely. It says.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm not hearing you. Sorry.
The comment says by Baba John Jerome, the Onali Anili Ogiri Sa. I hope I am pronouncing this right. I cannot pronounce things. Sakpada, the Mother Earth, was tired of the abuse to the planet and to our other species. On Nile sent her a messenger, Babalao Asa Jawano, Lord of the Epidemics, to send a real message that humanity can no longer continue to abuse the planet without consequence.
Exactly.
We need the planet, but the planet does not need us. If humanity continues to destroy and deforest the planet and pollute the oceans and destroy the ancestral sites as Syria, we will be right back in the same or worse in a few years. And I'm in agreement. It's very powerful words, very powerful words. And I think even in the Native American and the Hopi, prophecies and things like that, me being Lakota, things that, even with us, Teresa, her and I had similar experiences, with the Native American discussions that we've had. Everything, and I feel like within it, even in Ifa, to the Native American, to many of the different, aspects of different types of religions, we're bringing that one consistency and clarity. We have to change what we're doing.
We totally do.
Yeah.
Could I share a dream that I had? And I shared this with Jean Jerome. There was a dream I had, and without going into too much detail, I remember this dream and turning around and seeing rituals being done, not just rituals, but prayers being done, and they were done in every faith, and it was everything from looking and seeing a priest, a Catholic priest, to seeing a Jewish rabbi, to someone from Ifa doing something, and then looking to the left and seeing Tibetan monks doing this. And it suddenly occurred to me, I said, every faith is coming forward to do these prayers, and we are asking our ancestors to come forward and help us, okay? We need this, okay? We really, truly need this. We need the help of every faith out there, every ancestor to come forward and help us and guide us. It is so important for our ancestors to be there too.
I agree. And what's kind of funny is, so my spiritual path led me from being brought up in the Jewish faith, and I knew I wanted to get into investigating the paranormal and I knew I was going to need protection, and I was going to anyways, I wasn't finding the answers through my family and through the help I was seeking through Judaism. So it led me to Catholicism. And so now here I am. I'm a spiritual Catholic, which means I go to Catholic on Easter and Christmas, and I carry stones in my pocket and use pendulums and tap into spirit when it happens. But I still call myself Catholic. I pray to Saint Michael, Archangel Michael, and everything. So I consider myself a spiritual Catholic. I don't really have a title, but that's my title I've given myself.
You're just very well rounded in your belief system.
And it's just but it just shows how everything needs to come together. I believe the higher power is the higher power. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's the higher power. It's so, and everybody does need to come together, especially at a time like this. And
yes, we have to. We definitely have to. We have to bring our spirits with us, okay? Our Johto, our guides, our angels to be here with those ancestors. We really need to get this together, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Now here's something I learned today. Someone made a post today on Facebook. And they posted about something to do with like I forgot what it was. Their house was built at the same time that some like mass murders happened. I was like, I wonder what happened in the year that my house was built. My house was built in 1918. The Spanish flu.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy, right? And so like here I am being like deeply like impacted. So I'm wondering, is there energy, like residual energy from my home or from the spirits that are here that were maybe affected by that?
I do feel that. I feel like I just got chills and everything just went up and just totally like, and I do feel like there's a residual time loop. And like I told you you need to plant your tree. I feel like there's some, spiritual things that you could do to help clear some of that residual energy and those blocks. And then I feel like, Teresa, what's your thought process on that?
I'm going along with exactly what you're saying. I'm visualizing all of that. And I for me, when you're talking about planting trees, I'm looking at, I don't know what your backyard looks like, but I'm seeing a lot more greenery. Like there needs to be like bushes, the grass, and again, trees, and really kind of, because it's the earth that's going to cleanse that. I really do believe that, because it's that residual energy. You need new growth, it's that, again, it's that rebirth, that regrowth, I think that's important.
Yeah.
I'm picking out trees. I'm looking, it's hard, right? It's like, you can't really pick a tree out on the interweb.
I think the tree is going to pick you.
I think you're probably right about that, and that's how most things work with me. But I don't know. I think it'd be nice to have something nice though, like a cherry tree or something that blossoms like an apple tree, just because it would look pretty in my yard, right? But also I wouldn't be opposed to like a black walnut tree or something like that, which doesn't blossom. But I already have a black walnut tree, but I think another one might be okay.
Do you know you can tap that black walnut tree? You can make syrup. I'm just saying,
What about maple? Maple syrup is good.
My front yard has quite a few big old trees, and I could tell they protect the house. They protect the land, and you can feel that. And so whenever my kids like do something to the trees, I get like offended. They like if they go and like lean their bikes on the tree or they like hit a stick on the tree, I'm like, don't do that to the tree. What the tree do to you? And they look at me like I'm weird. They're like, what? I'm like, that tree's never done anything to you. Why are you hitting it?
I'm just saying, you, Sean. I'm all about a tree and syrup and pancakes. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. So.
I like maple syrup too. Oh, that would be great.
Oh, I do too.
You know what? That was the first thing that got canceled for me. There's a place called called Hale Farm over by me. It's in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and they make their own maple syrup. And they're having pancake breakfast with their maple syrup, and I had tickets for us to go. And like the first weekend that everything was shut down, was when we were supposed to go, and so I didn't get any maple syrup on pancakes. I made my own pancakes, but it was like some like Aunt Jemima freaking maple syrup.
Oh, that's not.
I know.
No, it's not pancakes, and you gotta find them and bacon grease, so you can have that little bit of bacon, crispy flavor in it, and maple syrup. That's how you do pancakes. That's how you do pancakes.
My wife got these got this pancake pan where it's like got faces, like emoji faces. So my kids like the emoji pancakes. What I like about it is it makes sure that I keep my pancakes in a proportionate size. Otherwise, I end up with like these big, huge pancakes. And my pancakes always come out like really fluffy, so they end up being like this big and like really thick. So now I want pancakes.
I know.
Well, now I'm hungry. Okay.
Patrick says, Zarina, you're making me hungry.
I know. I'm so sorry. It just happened. This is what happened was.
Patrick. This is what happens, right? Paranormal investigators, spiritualists, all like, once we start tapping into spirit and we start communicating with spirit, we get hungry.
Yeah, and all the Waffle Houses are closed.
Yes. Serena, I don't know about you, but you know what? The other thing I want, just to sort of keep on the food thing, I found where no matter what I was doing, whether I was doing a cleansing for someone, in their home, or doing an investigation, whatever, the thing that I always ended the evening or the day with, I had to have food, and I mean like a substantial meal, okay? Because you really need to ground that energy, right? Yeah. And then after that, sleep like a baby.
It is. It's like spiritual munchies. Like if you would have smoked a bunch of Kush, and then you just like it's like nosh, man. Like I am telling you.
You're right, though. You're absolutely right. Always go stop at Denny's on the way home from an investigation. But even so, you go home and you sleep well, right? But then you wake up and you're still spiritually drained. I call that the paranormal hangover. What do you think is the best cure, other than sleep, is the best cure for that paranormal hangover? Because that paranormal hangover can make you grumpy. It can make you, who knows, right? All different types of mood swings. It's like, yeah. So we'll just say like very mood swings.
You want me to tell you what my favorite is? This is my best thing that I make. I take hamburger and chorizo, and I mix it together, and I make a hamburger. I fry an egg and put it on top of it, slap some cheese on it, put it on a bun, and put some hot sauce and mayonnaise and mix it all up. And that is the best cure.
I feel like you just like brought up like a hangover hamburger. Like I just drank a fifth of tequila and now I need to have this burger.
Look, I just don't judge me. You ask, and I spoke what I told you.
I mean, I guess you're right. It's a spiritual hangover, so that makes sense. Here,
spiritual hangover. I love it.
Yeah, paranormal hangover, spiritual hangover. So Jean Jerome, he wrote another book here. So Zarina, do you want to read this one again?
Yes, I can. I'm just trying to get my little mouse to go back.
I'm sorry. There's just words I'm not familiar with, and I don't want to be disrespectful.
That's okay. I probably am going to mispronounce it myself because I'm not the best, but I'm going to give it my try. The Dejoto, or one man main spirit guide or ancestor who is responsible with our Ori soul, and our guardian Arisa angel is to help us complete our mission, our destiny on earth. The ancestors and ascended masters from different spiritual families or egg bays are returning through the human vessels to try to help humanity to find its way again. And this show and this meeting is not just a show, but a reunion.
Wow.
And that's what Teresa and I talked about earlier today, because it came with the spiritual message. I told her about the egg bays, the egg bay d'Orun, and that was part of her message. And Baba just confirmed that. Baba John Jerome just confirmed exactly what happened less than 6 hours ago, what we were talking about.
Wow.
Yep, Zarina. That is for sure. Yep.
Is that Ase?
Huh?
What Christina said? Is that Ase, Baba?
It's Ase or Ashe. If you want to, Teresa, explain what Ashe means in the Ifa.
Oh God, don't ask me.
Is that like saying aho?
Information of spirit, of saying, the good works, I know I'm not explaining this properly, but it's a feeling when you say it. It's ashe, ashe, ashe. It's like absolute truth is being spoken through you, like through spirit is speaking through you. It's ashe, ashe. That's how I look at it as.
It's like, for me, what I say, confirmation of spirit.
Yes.
So it's like kind of like saying aho?
Yeah, or amen.
Amen.
When we in prayer.
Amen, or
exactly like that.
Okay. Yep. Awesome.
Yep. So mote it be, if in the witchy way.
Yeah.
So mote it be. Yeah. Same thing.
Kathy Santori says, use light energy work like Reiki sessions for several days prior to investigations if you're able. It helps a lot.
Absolutely.
I started to get into like Reiki prayers and balancing. I stopped. I should probably do that more.
Yes, you should. And then Baba John Jerome said, Asi and Ashe is the power of creation and to make things manifest. And I love that, because I'm all about manifestation. 2019 to 2020, I've kicked it up to high gear. I've jacked that up on Mountain Dew, because I know by the end of 2021, I'm getting what I came for in this year. And I'm not letting anything or
Serena, I feel like you need to kick it up from Mountain Dew to Red Bull.
Look, let me tell you what, baby, right here. Look this up. Look, you just manifested that right there. Look at that. Bam! Woo! What I'm talking about.
Nice.
2 minutes, Sean, and you got what you asked for. What I'm telling you. I'm just saying.
All right. So let's do this. You need to kick it up from Red Bull to crystal meth.
No. No. I like having my tea. Okay.
I like my tea in the evenings too.
No, I mean tea. He was talking about crystal meth. I said, no, I like to keep my tea.
No.
Well, then we'd be like the Tiger King, but like I don't know, good thing. Look, but I was going somewhere with it. Because on the Tiger King, like they got like, I don't know. Oh gosh, the Tiger King. I can't believe I watched that.
Tiger King.
Don't. If you haven't watched it, don't.
I watched one episode and it was a train wreck, and I was like, I can't.
Just don't. I mean, I can't. Like, I can't believe I watched the whole thing. I even watched the extra thing that came out this week. Like, why? Listen, why do I do that to myself?
I watched, the only thing that I got through is I did watch all 3 Sharknadoes. So I just say I have that under my belt.
Did you ever watch?
And you're proud of it.
What about the Human Centipede? Do you ever watch that?
What?
The Human Centipede.
No.
Don't.
No, I don't do bugs.
Don't. I got about 3/4 through the first one. And there's people that love those movies, I can't do it. That's just too much.
No,
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, Zarina. You
Yeah.
do not eat before watching that. If you do,
I'm a Rambo and a John Wick kind of girl. Okay,
John Wick's cool.
Yeah, I'm not a fluffy romantic comedy.
Yep.
I'm not a fluffy romantic comedy. I want like Rambo. I want John Wick. Anytime, any day, anywhere. Keanu Reeves in my life. Yes. So just and Blade. I am definitely.
Do you know who my favorite action star is?
Blade. Oh my God. Yes, Blade. Oh.
Your favorite action star?
Yeah.
Please don't say Jackass because I just.
Is that action?
I don't know.
That's not action. That's jackassery.
Okay, so let me try to put my psychic hat on. What if I guess right?
Attaboy or Attagirl?
Okay, let me say Harrison Ford.
Nope.
Refrigerator. What? What is it?
Dwayne Johnson.
No, he's cool though. I like him too, but not him. Now, Dwayne Johnson is in a movie with the guy recently.
Let me see.
Had something to do with fast cars.
Vin Diesel.
Not Vin Diesel. He's cool too. He's in some really good movies too.
Not Vin Diesel, not Dwayne Johnson.
Think like
Can't y'all help us out in the chat world down here guessing his favorite action star?
What about people out there?
What can I?
Bubba said Jason Statham and Deadpool. Either one.
Melvin got it.
Who was Melvin? Yes. Oh, wait a minute. Both of them got it right. Bubba and Melvin got it right.
Oh, Bubba, he did. He's a straight. Yes. Yeah, same guy. I'll give it to him.
Awesome. Yeah, I do.
That's my dude. It all started with the movie Snatch. If you haven't seen Snatch, watch it. Love that movie.
Snatch is amazing.
I missed it. Who is it?
And Jason Statham. I think that's how. Yes.
Jason Statham. Yes.
Yeah, I love him.
He's on Snatch. And you got it. You got to go see it if you have not seen it. If you have, I'm telling you, it's also Brad Pitt's best movie.
Yes, I love Brad Pitt. But there's two. I also have two other favorite movies. One is Fight Club. That's my jam right there. And Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Fear and Loathing is a good movie.
I love Fear and Loathing.
That is a good movie.
It is.
I'm very partial to Pulp Fiction and oh, wait a minute. I'm getting distracted by comments. Sorry. That's my ADHD. Just like, oh, what? Squirrel. Sorry.
There's a unicorn.
I totally just lost my train of thought. Oh my god!
Right off the tracks.
Oh, guys, okay. So we were talking about movies. So okay, and I think it's probably the most underrated movie from the '90s and has the best soundtrack.
The Breakfast Club, of course.
No.
Are you serious right now?
The '90s. Oh.
Breakfast Club. Okay, Breakfast Club. It's a classic. I won't take that away, but I would not call it underrated.
Okay.
It's a very people love it. It's a very violent movie.
Very violent. Scarface.
Think Mickey and Mallory Knox.
Oh God! What is Mickey? I know that. I can't think of it.
With Mickey Rourke?
Is it now Mickey and Mallory Knox? I know that, but I can't.
I don't know.
Dr. Chingus?
No.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I know it's somewhere remotely in my head.
I don't have a clue.
What is it? We lost on Jeopardy today, Sean.
I know. What's going on with that, guys?
I know. And don't be a menace while drinking in the juice in the hood.
Campbell. Oh, guys.
And John Jerome asked Teresa, what is my favorite superhero?
Okay, well, let me just say the movie.
I'm just going to say this, okay?
Let me just say this, okay? The movie I'm talking about is Natural Born Killers. Again, if you have not seen this movie, go and check it out.
Okay.
Along with The Crow. These movies have great soundtracks.
I love The Crow. I'm a Crow. What are you talking
about? I know. I'm just saying, like, people, like, if you haven't seen these movies, the 90s had the best movies. The movies nowadays suck. I feel bad for kids nowadays. Cartoons suck. Movies suck. Everything sucks. Even the freaking, you know what? Even this freaking, the freaking end of the world sucks right now. It's like, come on. I mean, hasn't anyone seen like 28 Days Later? What happened to stuff like that?
No, I didn't know anymore. It's like 28 days later. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna die. I'm a fat girl, okay? I will like die in 2.2 seconds, okay? Those zombies run really fast, okay? They'll be noshing on me like queso dip right now, okay? That is not wrong.
Even there's
funny, Serena. You're funny.
What's that other movie? Can't think of the name of it. I See Dead People.
Yes, with Bruce Willis. Yes.
Yes. With
Bruce Willis.
God.
And that kid.
That kid, I can't think of his name, but I know which one you're talking about.
I know.
There's ghosts, like they don't make stuff like that. Now everything is just all just sell out. Every once in a while you get good movies. They've some good war movies have recently come out. I'm a big fan of movies. But like there's nothing good like spiritually. It's just Sixth Sense. Thank you, Melvin. I knew I could count on you.
Sixth Sense, that's it.
Kathy.
They even messed up my Karate Kid.
Oh, they ruined that movie.
I know they ruined it.
I wouldn't see it. I would not see it.
Just, you know, no, watch out. I'm just saying. You know, so
like they postponed the Ghostbusters movie. I don't know if I should be relieved or disappointed. I
haven't seen it.
There's a new one. No, it hasn't come out yet. It's supposed to come out like around now, but they postponed it because of the Rona.
Speaking of movies, have you guys seen what's that one? Hereditary?
Hereditary. Yes,
Hereditary.
No.
Oh my God. Serena, you have to watch it. Seriously.
It's good.
You are going to either love it or just be, like going.
Is it a scary movie? I can't help watch a scary movie by myself.
It's totally scary, but I love it.
Get your favorite pillow and snuggle up with your pillow and watch it.
Talk about it. He goes, once you start crawling the ceiling, Teresa, he goes, you're on your own.
No, I have
Joe Campbell.
I have to have a scary buddy person. Like, when you go to the bathroom and you need a bathroom buddy, I have to have a scary movie buddy because I will literally be like this and screaming. You don't understand. Like, I scream like a Bee Queen movie like person. I'll be like, yeah.
Hereditary, I think, is one of the scarier movies that came out too. Like, it doesn't. Yeah. Most movies nowadays aren't that scary, I don't think.
No.
Well, no, go see Hereditary. I thought it was scary. What do you think, Sean?
I think that's one of the scariest movies that have come out in a long time. I agree with that.
And
a good movie. And that director came out with another movie too that was twisted.
Oh, Midsummer.
Yes. That movie's twisted. That's the one where they go to that compound, right?
Yes, it's where is it held? Is it in Norway or Finland?
I think so. It's in like Norway or something, and they go to this it's twisted.
The Midsummer the Midsummer Festival, the Midsummer what is it? Zarina? Come on. Oh my God. I'm getting tired. It's my witch brain that's shutting off.
I know it's getting late.
Summer
Yeah.
celebration. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Beltane.
Oh, it's
No. It is midsummer. It's called midsummer. Anyway, and that's supposed to be scary too.
Yeah.
Honestly, that movie to me wasn't really that scary. That movie was more like twisted. It was more like a mind, like screw with your mind type of movie. Yeah. It's like a lot of it was like shock value. The end of it was I don't know. The end it has a great ending.
Yeah.
And me, I'm big on endings. Endings can ruin an entire movie.
Yeah.
There's plenty of movies out there that were fantastic until the end, and that just ruined the whole thing for me. Yeah. So, but that movie, that ending actually made that movie.
Sean, what did you think of the movie? And Zarina, what did you think of the movie The Witch?
I didn't get to watch that.
Is that that's the one that was took place back in like the colonial days, right?
Mm-hmm.
That movie was weird. I don't know. It wasn't really scary, but it kept me interested.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It played on when I went to see it, and afterwards, and talking about it with a friend of mine who I saw it with. It played on your mind for days afterward. It kind of stayed with you. You know, it had that flavor. You know, where it kind of just
lingered.
It stuck with you.
It lingered. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it lingered. That's exactly it. And I found I kept going back and sort of reliving little scenes in the movie and going, oh yeah, that's kind of weird, you know?
Yeah.
And no, it's different.
Yeah.
Well,
I liked it.
I will definitely have to put on my list all these movies, but
yeah.
I definitely need a scary buddy. So if anybody wants to volunteer, because I cannot watch this stuff alone, because I will not be able to go to sleep, because I'll be like, so I'm just saying, just put that out there.
Well, I have two buddies that I can do that with, my friend Beth and my friend Dora. We watch those scary movies, no problem.
Yeah.
So Jean Jerome says there's a movie. Is it Ragnarok?
Yeah, Ragnarok. Yeah,
it's a Norwegian language fantasy drama inspired by the Norse mythology from Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually that may have been one of those I started to watch, but like the English dub over it was probably just like so bad I couldn't. But I'll try and check it out again, just because I really like what Jean Jerome has said. So I respect your opinion. I'm going to check it out. Oh, Laura Holmes said that's weird. Sean said at the same time. She said the movie was weird. Well, we must have said it out loud at the same time. It is kind of a weird movie.
It is. We're having like that, effect. We're having that timeline kind of thing.
It's weird. Like, so we call this show Into the Abyss because we go down many rabbit holes, and we have been talking now for a while about movies. I feel like we had to switch up the energy. We were talking about the COVID-19 and everything that's going on, and then so we had to lighten up the mood. So I definitely appreciate that. However, it is now 10:44 p.m. here where I'm at, and my brain is shutting down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
mine is too.
And I'm hungry. And anybody wants to make...
I'm hungry too.
I'm hungry. Do we need to have some pancakes?
Please make Zarina pancakes.
Oh, cute. Very cute.
So, we ready to rock? You want to start off this prayer, Sean, or pick eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
I was thinking about sitting out this week and letting you guys do it.
Not happening. Not happening.
My energy, I just feel so out.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
I guess I'll start it, and then you guys are gonna fill in everything that I missed. I'm gonna miss.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Teresa finish it because she's gonna be the powerhouse. She's gonna the whammy that brings it the bam.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'll just do my little ditty, but you're gonna rock it out, Mama. I feel it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I call upon Archangel Michael to come and wrap us all in protection and guidance. Please come and be with us, protect our family members, and help guide us into the healing that we all need. And I want to call Raphael to help heal those who are ill and need your help in getting better. May everyone open their hearts and their souls and pay attention to those who are around you and help comfort those who are feeling the stresses of not working and hurting financially. I hope that a lot of people are starting to receive their stimulus checks, and I hope that more and more people continue to get those and they get some of the relief that is needed. I hope that people who normally would not find it in their hearts to make donations of their time or their monies to please help and find the time in the donations. Please open your hearts and your minds and guide and send out the healing white energy to those who need it and who will take it.
Let's see. I want to speak into existence and creation, the manifestation of provision and abundance and opportunity into people's life. I want to speak that all past vows and contracts that no longer serve your potential and your highest good, I ask that those contracts be broken. I remove lack and doubt and fear and that deficit thinking. I speak into being, healing, and alignment in your physical, in your mental, and in your spiritual body. I call that forth. I ask that you receive the medicine of the Spirit. I ask that you receive the spiritual dreams and prophetic messages that are about to enter your life. I thank the angels as that they are creating behind the scenes the answers to the problems that you are seeking, and that the ancestors are going to begin to resolve them with clarification and wisdom. And I give it over to Miss Teresa. Let's see.
Ashe.
Ashe.
I'm going to read a prayer here that is one that I've always loved to say to myself and out loud. It's a prayer to Saint Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, and all the archangels. Heavenly King, you have given us archangels to assist us during our pilgrimage on earth. Saint Michael is our protector. I ask him to come to our aid. Fight for all our loved ones and protect us from danger. Saint Gabriel, messenger of the good news, I ask him to come and help us, clear our voice, and to teach us the truth. Saint Raphael, the healing angel, I ask him to take our need for healing and that of everyone I know, lift it up to the throne of grace and deliver us back to us the gift of recovery. Help us to realize more fully the reality of the archangels and their desire to serve us. Holy angels, pray for us. Amen. And may the faiths of the entire world come together with our spirits and our ancestors to heal this planet. Amen.
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 Wow, that's got some juice. I love that. Teresa, I want
Look at my eyes.
I know, right? I'm like,
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Don't touch your face.
Don't touch
What?
He's like very emotional right now, and he's like, don't touch
My
your
eyes are tearing.
Yes.
Oh, I know. It's beautiful. I love all our messages, all our prayers together. We're all saying the same thing, you know, and we have to remember that we're all in this together, you know.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I wanted to say thank you, Teresa, for sharing your spirit. I wanted to say thank you for everyone that came on, Baba, everybody that supported this amazing healing and show today. And Sean, thank you for bringing the vision, and we love you, dude.
Oh.
Absolutely. I want to thank you too, Sean. Thank you, Serena. Thank you to all my Canadian friends who joined in, and everybody out there that joined tonight. Thank you ever so much.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. You are welcome back on anytime. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. And I know that there's no problem. I know that there's so much more to learn from you. So
thank you.
So thank you.
You know, I hope next time I can get all my technical difficulties.
No problem. we'll get that all figured out with time, right? And that's the thing about technology. Thank you, everybody, who came on. Yeah. I want to say, I say this at the end of every show. The reason why I started this show is because I come from a team. I brought up Ectovision Paranormal earlier. We had to work really hard at promotion, and I know it's hard and it can get to be expensive, not only financially but with time. And I wanted to give people a good way, an outlet to do it for free and have fun doing it, where we can all be ourselves and just kind of hang out and chill and promote each other. So if anybody has a book, an event, a video, anything you want to promote yourself. Are you a psychic medium? Do you give readings? Awesome. Let's have you on and let's talk about it, and let's get you promoted, and hopefully you can get some business out of it. Now, with all of that being said, and I plugged us. Oh, I forgot to say, if you do want to be on the show, just find us on Facebook. You can email me at 330paradad@gmail.com, or find Zarina on Facebook, or our page Into the Abyss on Facebook. With all of that, done plugging ourselves. Teresa, do you give readings? Is there a way that people can get in touch with you, or?
Yes, I have a Facebook page, the Crone's Corner. And I think, Zarina, you have a link to that. I'm not 100% sure. I can definitely send it out to you.
Yes.
I am in the process of going to be working on a website, okay? I do give spiritual readings. So if anybody wants to contact me for that, I'm open for that. I'm open for, like I said, investigations, house blessings, that type of thing. Definitely. Okay.
Awesome.
So, thank you.
Awesome. So, wow, I actually tried to do a quick search of the Crone's Corner, and here, this must be it, because this is the one to like and not join. See if I can get a link, so I could share a link for everybody.
Zona.
And then we will call it a night, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. I always love it when people are so willing to come on. We don't have a time limit. That's what's so great about RU Media Network. They don't give us a time limit. They let us be ourselves and be on as long as we need for each show. And each show kind of has a life of its own. So thank you so much for being on with us for so long. Thank you, everybody who sticks on and watches us for so long. It really means so much, and so thank you. Big thank you to everybody. And there, I think this is the link here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. Jean Jerome did the same link I did. Awesome. So I did find the right place.
Great. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. So, all right, guys. So with that, I hope everybody had a great hump day. I hope you make it through the rest of the week. I don't know who all's still working, but I hope that the rest of this week brings many blessings, and everyone has a great week.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem.
To both of you. Take care, everybody. Okay.
Right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, Sean.
Bye, Zarina. Good night, everybody.